Well, hello everybody. You know what that music means. That music means it's time to start a Sky Tour live stream. And we're here courtesy of skytourlive.com and actually skytourlive.org as well. We got that now as well. And so we're trying to build it all up. So welcome. And I want to welcome also to our prestigious panel Darrell Mason. Hey there, Darrell. How's it going and how are you?
Hello, Mark. I'm good. You? Hello, everybody.
Oh, I'm doing fine. And
Did Can I ask a question real quick? Did you
yeah,
say
please.
you changed Skytour.com to Skytour.org or something?
No, skytourlive.com exists and we now own skytourlive.org as well.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, so we have two of those domains. I'm no stranger to the domain thing, you know. I mean, I had to do that with FX Models, my visual effects business, um, and you know, we'd make the astronomy models and things like that with that, and you know, we've done rocket ships and things, submarines, you know, for the Navy. Oh, it's just crazy stuff. It's really a lot of fun. But you know, the truth is that we're focusing with SkyTour. We're focusing more on the astronomical aspects, and you know, we get to 10,000 subscribers with SkyTour, and we'll be able to have a store up here where you'll see all of our products and so forth. And on skytourlive.com, I'm planning on putting a store up there as well, and that's going to be kind of nice because then we'll be able to offer our 3D printed lunar craters, which are just exquisite. I have two sizes of 3D printed moons now, a whole moon. You have the whole moon in your hands. And there's one that's about 2.5 inches in diameter, and we have one that's almost 3.5, 4 inches in diameter. And it's a complete moon. Really detailed. Most of the craters on the moon are on this model, except for obviously the really, really tiny ones at that scale. But it'll be fun, you know, and I think that everybody will really, really enjoy it. First of all, I just want to say hello. I know Donald Kunzer was here first. So there you go, guys. And PG was right behind him. That's Petita in Pennsylvania. And welcome. Dagger Spells might not be able to join us. Dagger was tired, but had the courtesy to say I may or may not make it, which is fine. And of course, Renee Cruz is here. Vera Lucia Campos from Brazil is with us. And we have, of course, the wonderful Izabela Melamed from Sofia, Bulgaria. And she is wonderful. Alice Pooper is with us. Hi, Alice. How are you? And I love that name. You know, it's like Alice Cooper, right? And so, you know, I think we did okay, you know. And I'm just happy that we also have Simon Thompson with us from Perth in Western Australia back with us. You know, I'm pretty cool about that. Happily plugging along here. C&D boy, how you doing? So we got a bunch of people, and we have a whole bunch more coming. I'm sure this is the post. And Tim F. Hey, we have the post summer solstice show tonight. We couldn't stream yesterday because there were clouds, so I couldn't stream on the solstice. But you know, why do we want to? You know, I mean, it's the longest day of the year. You know, it's like, so that's why we're at 11:15 tonight and not 11. Genghis is here. Cindy Murphy's here. Hey there. So I'm pretty happy. We have our core group with us tonight. I'm really loving it.
Longest day meaning shortest night.
I know, and that's like, oh well. But then Justin, hey, how you doing? Justin T just popped in and said, "Hey, Marc and Darrell, how you doing?" We're just waiting for it to get fully dark. As you can see on the screen, this is our typical, what we call is my standard candle star. This is Spica, and it's out of focus on purpose a little bit because I'm going to be running through the focusing algorithm here soon as it gets a little darker. And the moon does not rise tonight during the time that we'll be doing this, so I think we'll have some time to have do some nice things. We're gonna do some nice stuff. I actually calibrated the auto guiding system on the back end of the telescope. It's out here. You can't really see it. It's on the back side, basically through here. And I will be able to take longer exposures tonight. And maybe we'll do that. Maybe do a couple of those just to see what they look like.
And the moon's past third quarter now. It's a waning crescent, so
we won't see it
won't be
till
up till
3 in the
after
morning
midnight.
or so. Yeah, it won't be up until long after, not quite long after we're done. Yep, very cool. So we'll just wait it out. Wait it out, and that's what we're doing. So as you can see, just with our 1 second exposure, and we're only at 100 gain. You can see these this right here, that exposure time is set to 1,000 milliseconds. That's a second, because there's 1,000 milliseconds in a second, right? So that is our exposure time, and then right down here is our gain, and that gain is the sensitivity of the sensor. And right now the gain is set to 100, as you can see right there, and that 100 is actually low for us. We generally go up to say 300, maybe 350, depending on what we're looking at. But I've been doing some, when the moon was out, I did some exposures at 250. And that's like an ISO number, a sensitivity number that you see with a camera, but we're doing that to try and give ourselves some lower noise imagery. And I have to say, the other night, that was just so much fun to just wait out the summertime nebulae that were coming up. And we caught the eagle. And as I reviewed the eagle later, I noticed that it was actually somewhat poorly guided. And I think the auto guider had the first couple exposures were bad, and I didn't catch it, so they stayed. But we'll make sure that if we get to that again tonight, I'm going to make sure, be very hyper diligent to make sure that it's perfect, because these stellar nurseries are amazing. This is, again, full of dark nebulae. These dark nebulae are dark dust particles that are basically the precursors of the fundamental building blocks of life. And because of the way stars interact with them, it makes this beautiful slurry of planet and other star-making material. And these dark nebulae are where it's at. In fact, it's the dark nebulae that are the most interesting nebulae in the entire universe. So, and you've heard Darrell talk about this, and Darrell, he talked about globular clusters before, you and I, and especially with these folks. And when we talk about globular clusters, we talk about there's so many stars, 10, 30, 40, 50,000 stars or more. And those stars are what are called metal poor. They don't have a lot of elements in them other than hydrogen and helium. And that's kind of sad, because what that means is that they were formed at a time way, way back at the beginning of the universe, effectively, when stars could form. And these stars, known as population 2 stars, were formed at a time when there weren't a whole lot of supernovae that had gone off already. These are among this is like the first string, okay? And so they're fairly pristine in their atmospheres. They have a fairly simple spectra in many cases. And that means that there's not a whole lot of these buildup of elements in their atmospheres, nor were they made with a bunch of elements in their atmospheres. So they're pretty simple stars, in effect. But over time, they are going to, as well, run out of their hydrogen, and they're going to either go into planetary nebulae stage, which we've already noticed in at least one or two. I can't remember how many. There might have been, I can't remember the number, but there is a number of stars in globular clusters that appear to have already gone into this planetary nebula stage, where they've actually basically started the process of dying, ending their existence, which I thought was a really fancy, situation. I'd love to see that. And if we can do it, if I can find a globular cluster that has such a planetary in it, and it's in the northern hemisphere, we will try to image it. I promise.
Give me a second. I'll see if I can rustle one up.
All right. He took the hint, guys. Hee hee. I don't know if there is, Darrell.
There are a few, I believe.
There are, but I don't know exactly how close they are to us. There's from our
There are
visual
only
perspective.
there are only 4 known globular cluster planetary nebulae in the Milky Way.
Yeah. And I bet you they're all in the
K648.
southern hemisphere.
No, I don't think so. Messier 15 has one. Uh, Messier 22 has one.
Okay.
PAL 6 has one, and NGC 6441.
Okay.
Don't know where that is.
So have they registered only that there's a spectra of a red giant, or do they see a planetary nebula?
Planetary nebulas.
All right.
What you said you wanted, that's what I looked for.
Yeah, that's cool. All right, we are going to scan.
I don't remember offhand where M15 is. I want to say it's in the sky this time of year. I know where M22 is. It's in Sagittarius.
Yeah, Sagittarius. Yeah,
just above the teapot.
That's a good one.
It's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
I don't remember ever seeing a planetary in it, but
well, we've never looked.
I wasn't looking for one.
Yeah, now we will. Hey there, Desert Dweller. What's going on? Anahata77, Bonnie, how are you? Good to see you. So we're focusing the system right now, so you can see the telescope is, the camera system is identifying these candidate stars here. These stars actually are going to give us data, which allows us to build this curve right here. This curve is, here we go. Wow. Okay, that curve is nice and deep. That's actually pretty good. That means it's a pretty good focus. And the best focus position is here, and the camera goes through a whole range, or sorry, the focuser goes through this whole range and studies these stars. All right, and we're done. That's what this green thing here means. Okay, this bar says we're done, and now what we're going to do is go to the point of best focus, and you'll see this bar slide over to this side, and then come all the way over to this center part again. And now our focus is perfect. So we can get rid of this now. It's done its job. And right now we're at 33.8 Celsius in the building. That's just around 95 Fahrenheit or so. So we're going to end up, working with a fairly warm night out there. Temperature on the sensor of the camera, though, is minus 6.8 Celsius. I super cool the camera Celsius sensor down to these negative Celsius temperatures to reduce the amount of noise that we get on our imagery. And it actually works wonders. When you see these images, when we process these images later, there's not a whole lot of noise that we have to remove compared to, say, when we're using the Sony A7S II that we're using out here. So when we implement this again, we're going to use the dedicated astronomical camera, and just to give you to show you a little bit. Let me pull this in. Okay, you see back there? Okay, hey Siri, highlight. Okay, there we go. So right now you can see that telescope. That telescope right there, that's the East Coast Sky Tour Livestream telescope. That's the one I'm rehabbing. All right. So it's actually finished. I just have to get it ready to put in the building. And to put it in the building, we have to first build the building. So that's what we have to do. But wood has been so expensive with all this pandemic garbage that we've not been able to do it. All right. Also, hey Siri, stream. So that gives us everything we need, and we're going to be ready to go to town as soon as we can get the building built. I have the linear actuators already, so we can actually pop the roof off of the building and then pop the roof back on. And I'll show you that at some point. I'll show you the design program that shows the roof actually coming off and going down to the side. Well, basically, if it had snow on it, it could lift 600 pounds, 1,200 pounds of snow and just dump it right off. Okay, and leave the building open. You can do observing, and then shoot, shut the building at the end of the night. So that's this one out here in the East Coast.
Are you gonna try the linear actuator? You're not talking the lifting column. You're talking on the roof.
That's correct. Actually the lifting column is a single linear actuator.
Yeah.
Inside of a pier. Very, very high strength, very, very high torque. Moves relatively slow, 1/2 inch per second. So it'll take some time for it to go all the way up to the full altitude, especially with the mass of the telescopes it's going to be carrying.
You're not doing that in July, though.
No, I won't be doing that in July. I don't even own the lifting columns yet. I didn't buy them yet. But I will. We'll get them.
Messier 22 and Sagittarius might be high enough to see from the observatory 11:30 at night or so. M13 Globular is in Pegasus, and that probably won't be visible till like 2:30 a.m. So
right.
we'll have to wait on that.
Yep. Okay. Okay. Well, again, this is Spica that we have right now, and we've got this evening here. You can see over here it's pretty dark, but we still have some sunlight. To know where it is, all we have to do is bring up our planetarium program here that we use. This planetarium program is free. It's called Stellarium, but we actually have it hooked in to control our telescope. All right. So while we're here, I guess what we can try, since we still had just a little bit of twilight, I think we should try and go to Messier 13. It makes a good starting object for us, you know, because it's fairly high up there, and it will be something we can easily find and check out, judge the quality. Vera, thank you so much. Vera Lucia Campos is like, you know, I'm glad you like this, Vera. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Vera.
Okay, so now we're moving the telescope to what I call a waypoint star, and from there it's gonna there's our waypoint star, I'm sure, and then it's gonna center the waypoint star, and to see where it centers it, we can actually show you. All right, it's gonna put it pretty close to the center of this reticle, and then it's gonna go off to Messier 13. All right, so now it's gonna center it. It'll get close. As long as it's in this inner circle, we are golden. All right, and then once that's centered, it zips away because it knows its position, and off it goes to Messier 13. There we go. It's doing all the work right now. There we go. And now we should see Messier 13, and there it is. Messier 13 is also in our inner circle, and I'm going to let it do that. There goes a Starlink satellite, most likely. Okay, so there we have it. Now we have our first object of the night. You can see this blue glow. That's because we are still suffering the ill effects of evening twilight right now, and it's going to go away soon. But we should be able to capture something of this beautiful cluster without a problem. This is one of your favorites anyway, Darrell, so hey, you know, this should be fun.
Oh, yeah.
Alright, so this will be
this is a good time of year for globular clusters.
It is. There's a lot of them out there, isn't it?
Yep. When you had Stellarium up, quite a few were showing.
Yeah.
In the neighborhood. There's some in Ophiuchus. There are up in Colma, I think it is, and several on the map this time of year.
Yeah.
A lot of them are M objects. Pretty obvious.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, we are centered up here, just about. And now what I'm going to do is wait for our guide system. Go around this. For our guide system here to lock on, and it'll say it's starting to guide. You'll see the numbers show up. There we go. And now we can do a 12-second exposure and stack this and see what we get. I mean, hey, this will test our focus and make sure that everything is running right with the telescope. Okay, so we're going to drop this, go into this, which is our live stack. All right, and we will see the first one in just a few seconds. This progress bar here when this fills up, and boom, there it is. So now what we do is, I know that doesn't look too impressive, but if you notice, here's the red curve of our data, here's the green curve of our data, and there's the blue curve of our data. There's the average curve. And what we want to do is align those curves together. That's called color balancing, and what I'm going to do now is do that. So you'll see the lines, there they go. So now the curves are lined up, right? And it changes how the thing looks on the screen. And then what we do is we will process that. Now that the data is aligned, now we're going to do some processing. So there it is right there. There's the first process pass. And as you notice, the view is just a little bit greenish blue. And that, again, is because we still have the sun affecting our imagery. All right. And so we could manually fix that by dropping the green and dropping some of the blue. All right. It's sort of like an auto correction here we can do. Just sort of like move it ourselves. Okay. Like that. Okay. So that looks pretty. And now let's zoom in on that and check it out, shall we? Well, I can just zoom in manually right here. Wow, look at that. And we're testing.
There's the feller.
Right there, yeah. We got this thing right here. You see that vertical blackish line? And we got this one here at an angle. We got this one here at an angle. Darrell has talked about the propeller before. It's just a happenstance view, happenstance arrangement of the stars that causes it. So that's why it looks that way. But hey, it's really pretty, isn't it? And we're at actually 133% on our sensor. What that means is we're viewing the sensor at higher than its recommended viewing. This is what we would have. This is 100%. That's the native size of our sensor. Okay, and if we were to go back to auto, then it fills the frame with the entire sensor, which is 4 full moons across and 3 full moons tall. That's just 2 degrees by 1.5 degrees. The moon is half a degree across effectively. So this is what we get. And it is a wide field system, so that allows us to see some cool things. This red is not a nebula. This is just light pollution from the sunset. And we just have to let it get darker. And then that'll go away. Pretty though, huh?
It is.
Yeah.
It's one of the prettiest of the globulars.
Oh yeah.
They're all cool. They're all different.
Yeah.
Some are big, some are little, some are close, some are far. Some are very compact, some are very expansive. Some are low count, some are huge.
Yeah, like 47 Tucanae, Omega Centauri. Those are huge. Mesha 13. It's got to have like 50,000 plus stars in it, I think. I can't remember the exact number.
Something like that, 50 or 100, I forget.
Yeah.
Omega Centauri has 4 million. And it's bigger than the moon in the sky.
Omega Centauri is out now. The only trouble is it's like 9 degrees above the horizon. And with the walls in our telescope building, we have a lower limit of about 20 degrees, 22. So we're not able to view it, but that's what the lifting columns are all about. We're going to get these lifting columns in place, and when we do, we'll be able to actually raise the entire telescope assembly up, and the walls will effectively vanish because we're going to be above the walls. Now, there's pros and cons with that. The pro is we can see closer to the horizon. However, you don't necessarily want to, because when you're looking down that low, you're looking through so much air that objects don't look as good as they could, and that's true. But if you just want to see the objects, well, then this gives us a broader range, and then as far as so that's sort of a pro. A con is that it has to hold the weight of 400 pounds of equipment going up in the air, this telescope. And as it goes up in the air and raises up, that's fine, but we'd have to do a plate solve. We would have to get it to tell us exactly where it is once it got to the full altitude. And that way we would be accurate again, because the slightest little motion, and this is a precision piece of instrumentation, but the slightest type of jog from dust into gear could cause this thing to, be off. So we would actually have to do that plate solve again. It'll be a routine, but that's fine. It'd be great, to do it. I don't mind it.
I would be more concerned if there was any play in the actuator, if you might lose your polar alignment when you extend it.
Well, that's what I just said. That was the thing that we have to do a plate solve for, just in case. And I would always do that as a precautionary measure. But don't forget, the polar alignment depends on a very exacting pointing at the North Pole. And I went through that, and the telescope here is mounted exactly such that the polar alignment to the north is exactly right, within a few arc seconds. And that took several days to do right, several nights actually. And once I did it, we were all set. But as Darrell just said, once that lifting column goes up, with a telescope that's like an f8 or has a fairly magnified field of view, it's a little bit more important to have that alignment perfect. But with our telescope at f2 and a field that's so large, that misalignment might not be such a problem for us. Right now, at 100%, if I do a search on an object, it will appear in this field. But if the lifting column has any play or torsional stress that I talked to the engineers directly at this company about this. Progressive Automations is the name of the company. And their systems don't have any play like that where the thing can twist. It's actually quite elaborately made, and so I just have to worry about, and I got to get the final specs on what happens with dust and so forth. Should there be a dust storm, what do we have to worry about? Same like with the telescope, Anyway.
Their name again?
Progressive Automations.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. They have a nice site. You can go through and get the specs. See, Darrell's going to get one now. Watch. Ooh, I got to get one. Yeah. And I talked to their engineer. Very good guy. One of their engineers. They have a team.
Oh, I don't need one.
Nah, but
I had to work
one.
On.
What did you have to work on?
Linear actuators.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
so
Progressive was.
If I don't
one
need
of those,
one,
yeah.
I don't want one. Okay.
Mm-hmm. I have two of them in the effects shop right now because I'm going to use those as the lifting elements for the roof, and they're going to be in sync with each other on either side of the building, and they're just going to basically lift the whole roof right off and tip it down to the side, and that's really kind of cool.
Yeah. Polar alignment is one of those things. I mean, even if you've got a pier permanently mounted, quote unquote, hash marks and all that, things can move. Things can shift.
Yeah, they can. Building settles over time, and that's going to change
buildings
things.
settle, thermal heaving, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
You're just bolted
well, there
to
we don't have to worry about
a
it.
concrete floor, right?
Actually, the concrete floor is like 8.5 inches thick.
Okay.
It's a massively thick floor. I
Still though,
really wanted it.
you don't have a pier.
What?
You don't have a pier sunk in the ground.
No, it's bolted to the concrete floor.
Yeah.
It's actually on these. I forget the name of the bolts that you put into the concrete. They're specifically Hiltis. They're on Hilti bolts, which are a special bolt. And the pier itself, the base of the pier is not directly on the floor. It's actually raised up by about an inch, and that allows me to adjust underneath the pier to get it perfectly level.
Yes.
So it's really good. Hey there, Cosmic Ray. Cosmic, was that you that wrote me that email? Well, let me know. All right, so I think because we have very low wind tonight, too, we're going to get some nicer objects out there. And it looks like this is working pretty nice. I'm going to just give us on this particular element, I'm going to do this and just bring that up to another color matching here. There we go. It's a little bit green. Drop that one notch. There we go. And come back out and go to fill the frame with it. Okay. All right, and this is going to be Measure 13. It's a starter object for tonight. We're going to call it that. M13, and it's a GC. It's a globular cluster. All right. So if any of you have any requests tonight, feel free to let us know.
Somebody asked earlier, I forgot who, they wanted to see the supernova again.
Oh yeah, we got to check the supernova. We're going to check supernova every time.
Yeah.
Okay, there's Measure 13. Yeah, supernova has to be seen every night. We got to check it out.
Yeah. Probably need to do that soon while Virgo's still up high.
Yeah, we're going to do that, actually. So right now, we have plenty of frames here at 56. We're going to pause this. We'll save it. And you'll see across the top, there's our blue FITS file, our astronomical file format. And then we're going to save it exactly as seen. That astronomical file format you don't have to look at. That's the raw file. It's not going to look like this in the raw file. It's going to actually look almost invisible to you, as you got to use processing to bring it out. If you do that kind of work, if you don't, then what you do is you just take our images that we take when we say the second one, which is the save images exactly as seen, because then you see it just like you see it on the screen, and you can use it, have fun with it. Very, they're high resolution, so you can actually have a good time. All right, so let's get out of this. We're done with this. We're going to go back to our 1 second shot here. All right, and give ourselves a little bit of enhanced view. This is our enhanced finder view, as I call it. All right, so Measure 13, did your duty, come over here. And now what we'll do is go to Stellarium and dig up our wonderful supernova, which is NGC 4647 right here. We actually, you notice that the lines are sloped over. That's because it's way toward the west. So the telescope is going to swing from where you see it now to a little more to that direction. All right. So we're going to go there now, shall we? Yes,
Yeah.
we shall.
Time flies. You see Leo's getting ready to set already.
I know. I know it. Okay, we're zipping along, heading over toward the west. And unfortunately, to the west, it's also brighter still to that side, so we're going to have to worry about that. And you can see that we're going over here. We're up in Coma Berenices. And what star are we going to use? We're going to use this guy right here. Yep. All right. And we'll just drop this down here for this moment. Okay. All right. All right, and then we're going to end up now seeing in our view, notice the telescope's now leaning over toward the west. What you're seeing there, that is not the supernova, that is the galaxy next to the galaxy that has the supernova in it. This is called Messier 60. And Messier 60 is right next to our galaxy in question. And what we'll do is, let's try and see if we can get a 15-second shot of this without too much of a problem. So we're going to do that and stack it and get rid of the globular cluster that was here before. Okay. And now you see our progress bar over there on the right. Okay, it's heading up, and we have 2, 1, 0, and boom. So now we can process this, and we'll get rid of some of the sunset colors here. There we go. Process those out. So now let's zoom in on this. This is our, let's go actually to 100%. And there we go. So now here is Messier 60. This is 4647, and that little tiny dot, that's the supernova. Now, just a few weeks ago, that tiny dot was actually a bright dot that was as bright as the entire galaxy. Overall, if you condensed all those stars into one point, they were as bright as this supernova. You know? But
looks dimmer now.
it looks dimmer now, and that could be because of the night. Okay, and the number. I mean, we only took a 15-second exposure. To get it right, we should do a 25-second exposure, because I think that's what we did last time. I'm not sure, but we can zoom in a little more now. Okay, so we're at 154% on our sensor. You'll notice that it's a little more orange, and it's definitely not as bright as the whole galaxy anymore. It's clearly less. And that's, you know, that's due to the fact that supernova has a lot of energy that it expends when it explodes, but then it cools. As it expands, the debris cloud cools. And it goes from a hot blue, which it was initially, which we saw, and makes its way to red, and then finally will fade away, leaving a remnant that will be visible to, say, a Hubble Space Telescope, and of course the James Webb would also see a remnant there. Move that out of the way.
20 days away.
Yeah, isn't that great? I
got enough finger and toes to remember that.
Yeah, we are actually looking forward to that, I believe.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we talked about the type of supernova that this is as well. This is a Type 1A, which is a standard candle to us. We can look at these, and we can guess how far the galaxy is from other parameters we can utilize. But the 1A supernova really helps us nail down the distance perfectly, because, you know, or close to perfectly. Because Type 1As, when they go off, they are all of fairly the same brightness. And that, in short, allows us to calculate the distance, because they all are the same brightness, no matter how far away they are. You know, if you move them to some standard distance from us, they would all be the same brightness, and that gives us the clue to figure out how far away they are. It's really a very beneficial process. It's part of the cosmological distance ladder. It's one of those elements that we use.
Yep.
Yeah. Vera Lucia Campos says, "What a difference." In fact, it's true, Vera. It looks to us like it has dimmed significantly. And I'm going to try and process. This is one thing I never had to do. I never had to try and process this galaxy in order to show that supernova better. It stood out. And now it's definitely a remnant that's, you know, losing its steam, so to speak. Nice, though,
Yeah.
huh? This is so cool.
When you punched it up just now, I can now see just a hint of spiral structure
Oh,
in
yeah, see it?
4647 there,
Yeah.
sort of to the left of the nucleus or between the
Mm-hmm.
nucleus and the supernova. And
Yep,
it's
right there, dark
curling,
lane.
yeah, curling up and around toward the top.
Yep.
Barely.
Yeah, it's there. Let's see if we can
Yeah, that's
pull that out a little.
that's definitely dimmed.
Oh, yeah. Yep, it is dimmed, all right. But hey, you know what? That's what they do. Now, if you're in that
If you
galaxy,
were, go ahead.
okay, if you're in this galaxy, and on this side of the galaxy, as an inhabitant of this galaxy, you may not even see this supernova because it would be through the galactic center, and we know there's going to be a lot of dust and stuff, like in our galaxy, and you wouldn't see the supernova necessarily. So that's very interesting. Okay, go ahead, Darrell. Sorry.
Oh, that's all right. Donald, the supernova blue, from our point of view, I want to say March 27th. We first looked at it in early April, like April 2nd, I want to say. First week in April, at any rate.
Yeah, and to understand why it's still as bright as it is, you have to understand that when a supernova goes off, the star has basically been disrupted. Okay, the star has, in this case, gone through this runaway fusion on its surface as a white dwarf. See, white dwarfs aren't doing fusion anymore. They're actually just hot stellar remnant cores. There's no fusion going on. And if you actually add gas to the surface of a white dwarf, it can go beyond that critical mass that we've talked about. And that critical mass will then allow this runaway fusion possibly to run off and cause further havoc on the star. And it will also potentially disrupt the star and cause it to explode. And that's what happened here. So this is the result of that. So these stars, again, are, as they blow up, all their debris moves out away, and as it moves away, it's going to cool because it gets farther from the center of the explosion, and that will leave a residual object there at the center potentially of some kind that we can observe at some point, maybe in the future. I'm not sure, but the other star around it may not have been destroyed at all, and probably wasn't destroyed. Stars are actually pretty rugged, so if that star blew up near it, it probably affected the outer atmosphere of the companion star, because it's a binary star system that this occurred in. But it didn't necessarily destroy the companion star at all. So that's pretty cool too, you know. Yeah, so there it is. That's it right there. And we have done 30 frames, and I think we're going to stop it here. I think that's a good stopping point, Darrell.
Yeah.
All right, so let me go up here and say NGC 4647, SN for supernova. We always try to get the right codes. Okay, and then we'll go over here and save it. And now there'll be a directory on our server that's, with that name. And then you can actually download it from there. If you want to know where to download it and how, go to skytourlive.com right there, or skytourlive.org, and go scroll down. We have the Horsehead Nebula on the main page. As you scroll down, you'll see an area that says, "Get me to the data." And so you read the instructions there, and then click it, and it takes you to the data, and you can start downloading to your heart's content. So that's good.
Izabela, I don't recall the Umbrella Galaxy offhand. Sure, why not? What part? Where is it at? Maybe Marc can look it up in Stellarium.
Yeah, I mean, if it's the Umbrella Galaxy, sounds like another Stellarium name. Well, we can look it up and see if it exists by that name. There it is. Where is the Umbrella Galaxy? Oh, well, it's right near us.
Yeah.
So apparently she knew what she's talking about. Okay. Izabela has asked for a custom object. We're going to go there for her. Alright, so we're going to clear this now and get out of the stack. I saved it already, and we're going to go back to our 1 second view here and do our hybrid view. Give us our finder enhanced view. Okay, and this can come off. All right. Okay, and let's go back out to our our frame filled view here where we can actually see the entire sensor. Okay, there it is. Okay, and now let's go back to our Stellarium and say Umbrella Galaxy it is, and let's go. And this is for you, Izabela. You know, Izabela, when she makes a request, we don't ignore her because she does so much for us. Actually, we don't ignore anybody, actually, but we try to do what she says right away because she's really our boss.
Oh, it does look cool. See why they
Cool.
call it the umbrella. Indice 4651 is its proper designation.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
It's in Coma Berenices.
Yeah.
It's a spiral with an umbrella sticking out the side of it.
It's an SA galaxy too, so it's actually a very tightly wound spiral.
Wow, cool.
I wonder if this is it. Can't tell. It looks like that's it. But we'll know in a second. Let me move a little bit to the west here. Okay. All right. And now we'll wait for our guider to kick in, and then we'll take a picture. Hey, Dean Bustador, how are you? Dean says, I just got in from observing, and here you are. Hey, Dean, tell me what you're observing. Okay. And now we're gonna try a 25-second shot. All right, and we're gonna get rid of our enhanced view, go into the live stack, and wait this one out and see what we get. Izabela says, what appears to be a giant cosmic umbrella is now known to be a tidal stream of stars stripped from a small satellite galaxy from NASA, which is what's on my shirt. You just can't read it because it's backwards, because the image is flipped. Okay, yeah, that must be it right there. All right, so let's color correct, bring our things in alignment, and this is going to be pretty close. So let's...
It's on the small side. It's about 4 by 2 minute arc minutes.
Uh-huh. Well, let's see what we can see. All right, this is 113%. But we'll see what we got. We're at 100% now, so let's we only have 2 stacked right now, so let's pushing it's not going to really help us too much. But it is an SA. You can really see it. What that means is the spiral is very tightly wound. You can see the nucleus there, and then these spiral arms are very, very, very tightly wound around that nucleus.
Yeah, it's not even astronomical twilight in Arizona yet.
Oh, I know. We're still... That's why it's blue.
Yeah.
And we're faking it out by doing this color correction. We're just removing the blue artificially, but still not quite dark enough, and it does make a huge difference, in our imagery when we actually wait until it's fully dark. All right, Dean says it was scanning the Lyra constellation for double stars and open clusters. It uses 102 millimeter refractor and iPhone. Oh, cool! You got an adapter for the 102 millimeter. What's the name of the what refractor is that? It's 102 millimeter. Island Warrior, how are you? Good to see you.
Well, it's a 4-inch refractor.
Yeah, but which one is it?
I don't know yet.
I know, that's what it is. I want to find out. He'll tell us. Audrey, how are you? So nice to see you. Is this your first time here, Audrey? Okay, we're going to let this image come in. It's coming in a little better right now. It's looking good. Yeah, Cosmic Ray says the double-double, that's Epsilon Lyra, in Lyra is a good scope test. Yeah, it is. It is. And of course, we can split it with this system now. We couldn't before until it was collimated. Mother's Gary, how are you? We are streaming. Well, this is a complicated question. The telescope system that you see right up there, right here, this telescope is out in the Arizona desert, which is 2,500 miles away from where I am. I'm in Connecticut, and I'm about 1,500 miles from Darrell, who's out in Colorado. So, this is truly a distributed enterprise. I built the observatory out there with the help of a number of people, many, many good people, and the entire observatory was built from GoFundMe. So the intent was to do public outreach in astronomy and to teach astronomy live, and that's just what we're doing. So it's pretty cool. Audrey says, no, she says, we watch a lot of your streams, and now we're hooked. Oh, hey, you know what? That's really kind. Thank you, Audrey. I'm glad you're hooked. It's nice to know that there's other people that get hooked on this stuff like I do. What can they say? For me, it's just after midnight, and I'm not even tired. I'm going to go as long as I can. Grape Soda's here with us. Nice to see you. But thank you, Audrey. That was very kind to say. Yeah. Grape Soda says, woohoo! Hey, super cool people here. Yeah. Very nice. Yeah, as you can see, as we get more stacked, and we're up to 12 now, our image actually looks even better, doesn't it? That's pretty cool. Yeah. And I see some outer stuff here on this image. And I wonder if that's what they were calling the umbrella feature. I do not know. By taking this down to here, you can see the spiral structure, the very tight spiral. We're going to go even closer. We're jumping into this galaxy, folks. Let's go. Wow. Okay. I definitely see this outer portion. Is that the umbrella part? I mean, I'm not sure. I've never seen this galaxy. First time.
I think the umbrella is there on the left side. It's there's a star stream sticking straight out one side of the galaxy, and then there's like a curve or a parasol shape of stars at the end of the stream. Yes.
Okay.
I posted a link to an image at Wiki that shows it well. It's on the other side in that view, but you never can tell with professional observatory shots.
Okay. Because I see something here too. I'm not sure if that's a star stream. I'm gonna take our black level, this left yellow dashed line, and move it over a little bit. Help with the contrast here. And then do another color correction here. Wow. Cosmic Ray says, who protects the observatory? Well, just to give you an idea, there's a shooting range on the property not 100 feet from the observatory. So it's on protected property.
I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. Gun range, yeah.
I'll come strapped if I ever go down there.
And you will. Yeah, this is really pretty. See, now we have 18 stacked, and you can really see the spiral structure here playing out. It's really pretty. And this looks like what could be the parasol part. There's like a dark lane that's dividing it from the rest of the galaxy. Is that true? So is this here what I'm looking at? Did I hear? Not sure. I'm not sure. Let's darken it up again. Let's darken the background and leave our data.
Okay, and if I'm reading the other image correctly, there's a bright star down at about 8 o'clock from the nucleus. And
Yes?
I see that in the other. Hang on. No. Out about the size of the galaxy. 8 o'clock.
So, out here?
Out about the size of the galaxy, about 8 o'clock.
I know saying it twice isn't going to make me get there any better. Is it reversed in your image or not?
No, it's the same as the image I have.
Okay.
Go to the lower left. See that bright star?
This star here?
Yes, right there. Okay,
Okay.
the image I see has that star in the same place. The parasol is on the other side of the galaxy. It's on the right side at about 3 o'clock.
Is this it right here?
It's a little farther out. It's not showing in
Okay.
your image.
Okay. All right. So we're only doing a 25-second shot. If we were to clear this and do a 55-second shot, it would probably show up, I would think.
You know, that plus the sky's still not dark yet.
Yeah.
I'm going to send you the link. You can post it if you want. You don't have to.
Okay. All right, let's go check it out. Okay. Let's just show you what this is supposed to look like when you're looking with a very, very high-end system. There is the object we're talking about. Okay, right there. Right here. Alright, you can see the spiral structure. And this is the star you were talking about, I assume.
I don't see your stream anymore. There it is. Okay, let me close
Well,
that.
I have this in front. So if I come back here, okay. Yeah, we're actually looking at an object that's pretty small. Let me try to get this a little more detailed for us. Wow. Oh, you know what else I need? I have to go into the enhancements and I want to add the unsharp mask. So if I do that, let's see what that helps us with. Okay, that gives us a little more leeway. And it's 1.5. That's good. 1.5 pixels right here is the range that the convolution matrix is using. It's called. All right. Izabela says that streak that we saw, it was supposed to be a stream of stars from a destroyed small galaxy. Literally a star away. Well, hello, neutrino. Yeah, that's like a star away. I get you. Wow, neat. Well, unfortunately, this object is a little bit small for us. We're good with wider angle things, right? All right, let's see here. What else do you have to look at tonight here? Let's see.
You want to hit those other globulars while we're in the neighborhood?
Absolutely. Might as well before they
Yeah,
we
I
lose
think
them.
M3's just above it. And can you back out a little bit in Stelar?
Yeah, sure. It's 53 is here.
Okay, and then M3, back out a little more.
Okay.
Open up to the upper right.
There's M3.
All right. Yeah, M53
Should we go
and
there?
M3. Sure, M3 and 53
Okay.
are what I was thinking of.
Okay. All right, so we're gonna do that, and we'll check them out while we're at it. But before we do that, I have to save this guy. So this is our let's see, umbrella galaxy. That's kind of cool. If I could spell umbrella correctly, I missed a letter. Umbrella galaxy, and all right. So just for the record, this is what it is. S means spiral. A means tightly wound spiral. Yep. All right. Yeah, Cosmic. It's been raining here all day too. Cosmic Ray says 1.6 inches of rain here in the last 3 hours. I know what that's like. Okay, let's do this. Because we're still running. We're up to 32 stacks, so I'm going to try and put a little more detail out of this before we go. That's looking pretty good. I can see those arms a little better. Let's darken that contrast up in the background. Yeah, I don't see the umbrella though, Darrell. It's just
No,
probably
neither do I.
yeah, it's not going to happen. I think with the sky the way it is right now, we have to get darker out there.
Yes, I agree.
All right. Well, either way, we had a cool thing here. Let's move to the next. We're going to pause this. Maybe in processing we'll see this. All right. So we have it set up. Umbrella Galaxy. saving the Umbrella Galaxy. And okay. And save exactly as seen. Alright. Okay. So it's been saved exactly as seen. Island Warrior says, new telescope arrives tomorrow. Oh, wow. Thank you, gents, and the inspiration to begin my celestial journey. Fantastic. You live in southeast New Mexico. Very little light pollution. And I can't wait to see what I see. I'll be in New Mexico next week, actually. I'll be in, I guess it's Eastern, Central Eastern. I'm going to go to Roswell. I have to do a talk there. Then on the way back from Denver, after I speak at Denver the following week, I will be driving through New Mexico again, because there's a facility down there I'm looking at as a possibility for making it basically a worldwide astronomical outreach facility, if they'll go for it. I mean, the state has a problem with this facility. They tried to make it into a museum, and it failed miserably, unfortunately, which is terrible.
You're driving from Denver to New Mexico?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. And then from there, driving... Huh?
That could be quite a drive.
6 hours.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah, it'll be okay.
To Roswell?
No, I'm not driving to Roswell. I'm flying to Phoenix and then flying to Roswell directly. Then flying back to Phoenix and going to Denver from there, doing the talk in Denver, and then from Denver I'm driving down to New Mexico.
Okay.
Island Warrior says he's in Carlsbad, New Mexico, 70 miles south of Roswell. Okay. Awesome. We're going to be going south. I'm going to be going south of Socorro, north of Truth or Consequences, because there's an old museum there. I say old. It's actually not old at all. A museum that was, they tried to get it off the ground, but it's too far off the beaten path. People didn't want to go. No cell service. But with Starlink, we can actually do Wi-Fi cell service and Wi-Fi calling. So that's going to be available again. I'm sorry, Darrell. Go ahead.
South Socorro, north of Truth or Consequences.
Yeah, there's no towns in between.
Yes.
So it's literally almost directly between them, and then there's this old this museum. It's like 25,000 square feet, and it's got this beautiful open area. I can just see perfectly. I can just see how that could be a wonderful site.
Yeah. Okay,
But
6 hours sounds about right.
Sounds worth it too. We're gonna clear this now.
You know, once you leave Albuquerque and hit Socorro, you're pretty much in the desert.
Yeah. Yep. I'm looking forward to that. Alright, let's go to our 1 second shot here. Alright. We're going to M3. And away we go. You see the stars streak as we make our way. Boom! Off we are. Well, there's a bright one. That's a pretty bright star. I wonder which one we're going to use here. We're, of course, at 100% on our sensor. Ah, Muffred. It's Muffred. To the right of Arcturus in the sky when you're looking at it. Well, can't miss that M3. Look at that.
Yeah.
Of course, we're at 100%. And I was telling you that even with 100%, we still get our optics in here. So we do have good alignment to this telescope. Wow, it's really pretty. we should be ready now. I can go west. Okay, I'll do another jog to the west. Okay. All right. We'll try 20 seconds on this, and we're going to wait for our looking above the Sky Tour Live flag there. Let's wait for our guider to start guiding. All right, we should have it momentarily. Museum of Space History is in Alamogordo. I believe maybe the one you... No, it's not that one, actually, believe it or not. It's some kind of Native American museum that didn't work, unfortunately. I wish it had, but it didn't. Alright, let's just go in here. Clear this now.
On a reservation?
No. It's not. Okay. Now what we're going to do here is we're going to wipe out that extra bit of business there, and we're going to clear this because our guider has not keyed into this yet. Let's do this. Okay,
Boy, M3 gives M13 a run for its money.
Well, keep in mind we're at 100%.
Yeah.
Right. So I mean, it's a lot smaller than M13 because we go to auto. Notice this. Okay, but it's pretty, no doubt. It's a beautiful, beautiful image.
Yep.
I like the music. The music fits this very well. See, I like to have, like, for me, it's about the whole package, right? I mean, I like to be able to have the display. Everything has to look good. I want you to feel engaged. And then there has to be music, you know? And not loud rock music like on some other streams I've seen, but just music to help you think and enjoy without fogging your mind with heavy bass beats and stuff like that. Okay. Alright, I'm going to drop us down now. This is our mid-range level. I'm going to drop that down. You'll see the center show up a little bit better. Drop it way out. It will resolve the center very much. You can see now all the stars in the center of this. And then we're going to come back. Yeah, looks good. This is a beautiful cluster.
I think it may be a little more compact toward the center than M13.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it does have that look. Answer neutrino there, Darrell. That's probably what you're doing.
Yes, I am.
Well, you can tell everybody. Oh, Darrell doesn't. Neutrino asked Darrell what his dream telescope would be.
Neutrino, if I hit the lottery, if I hit the Powerball, okay, not just the lottery, I would get a castle built out in the sticks, and then I would get a great big honking telescope, like about a 30 or 40 inch telescope.
Why stop there?
If I hit the Powerball.
Well, again, telescopes of that size need high-end maintenance too.
If I hit the Powerball.
Yeah. Dean, I'm with you on that. Dean says, I can't take listening to rock when astro imaging either. No music or classical or other relaxing music. Yeah, I agree. But see, this is a show.
As it is, I have a 16-inch Dobsonian. I never use it. It's a pig. It's got a decent primary mirror in it, but the telescope's an absolute pig. If you
clean
ever
up
look
after itself.
It's a royal pain in the butt to handle and to move around. If you ever look at Ed Ting's reviews on YouTube, he just recently reviewed the 16-inch Meade Dobsonian. It's called the Meade Starfinder 16-inch, and everything I say about it, he says in spades. The thing weighs like 175 pounds, and it is just a royal pain in the butt to try to use the telescope. It's hard to move, it's hard to use.
Well, that's, I guess, that's par for the course for some of these telescopes with the requirement for a stable foundation.
It's the build quality. It's heavy. It's built out of particle board and a big cardboard tube. It just sucks.
We don't like that.
No. I mean, there are better Dobsonians out there, 16-inch and bigger, 18, 20, 22, that are much easier to handle than this thing is.
Well, I have an Orion 8-inch Dobsonian out in the my shed outside. It's actually a very nice shed. It doesn't have any exposure to the weather in any way, shape, or form. And it's covered. It's fully encased, actually, in its case. And I've never used it. And I bought it for $100.
Well,
it's from Orion.
Yeah,
someone was selling it. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. The Orion 8-inch Dob has a very good reputation. That's what I usually tell people to buy for the first telescope.
Really? Because I got one and I don't want it.
Sell it.
I don't. You know what the thing is? I gotta sell to someone who knows what they're getting. You know what I mean? And not someone who's just gonna have it sit like I am. You know, it's a shame it's sitting out there. But I could never get into the Dobsonian because I have a friend that actually has a Dobsonian, actually the producer for our radio show, Skytour Radio, Bill Skywatcher. And his Dobsonian, he has motors on it to actually align and do, altazimuth viewing of the night sky. He doesn't tilt it to make it into a polar mount like some people do. But hey, it's pretty cool.
Well, that was the first telescope for him, but he bought too much telescope.
Yeah, I agree. Yep.
Well, I could say a lot more, but I'm not going to. Just too much telescope.
Yeah. Izabela says when she read about the fires at Kip Peak Observatory, where they actually lost several buildings, but they were administrative and dormitories, not telescopes. She was thinking about the STLS-AZ Observatory, our Arizona Observatory. How protected is it from fires? I designed it with fires in mind. So what I did was, the building itself is wood, but it's sheeted in metal. The building has no exposed wood surfaces, except for just a few. And so the bulk of the building is sheeted in metal cladding that is obviously fireproof there. And the other thing is, it's in an area of the desert where it's completely cleared of any vegetation. The dirt can't burn, and it's actually in an area on this 5 acres where there's nothing nearby that can burn. So we keep an eye on that though, because you never know, you know.
Kit Peak, as the name implies, is up on a mountaintop, and there are a lot of trees, which is providing the fuel for the fires.
Yeah, it sure is, huh? Okay, this is M13 Globular Cluster. And we're going to pause this now with way too many stacked. All right, there we go. So we'll save it. And save it exactly as seen. That looks really pretty. Really nice.
That's a very nice globular.
I agree. Now that we've done this so long, we probably are dark enough to try something else besides another globular.
Yeah. Surprise me. Will you excuse me for a moment, please?
All right. We'll see you when you get back.
Back.
So we're going to go and check out our planetarium program here. We're leaning way over there, not terribly much so, but we are enough. Yeah, let's zoom out here a little bit. We'll get off of that. Yeah, we saw M13 already. And let's go down here. The White-Eyed Pea Nebula. How far are you? It's pretty high up there. We should go check it out, don't you think? This is a planetary nebula. And we'll go check it out. Okay. Look at the telescope moving up there. There it goes. Coming down. What star will we use? It's going to use one of these maybe. Oh no, it's going to go down there to Unukai. Unukalai. And then it'll go up to that particular nebula there is Unukali or Nukale. And Izabela, this sounds cute. It is a planetary nebula, yes. And they tend to be small, so we're going to see what this looks like. We may or may not see it. But it's when we find it, we'll find it. So let's go back here. And let's put ourselves right there. And it's going to be apparently down below. Unless that's it right there. Well, let's find out. We're going to take an exposure of 12 seconds. And I'll tell you why. Because we don't want too much time in here. Too much time means that we might lose the ability to see it as a expanding cloud. It might look like a star. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to get rid of this.
Where are we going now?
I went to something I've never seen before. And we're going to see if we can see it at all. It's called the White-Eyed Pea Nebula.
Planetary?
Yep. I don't. It's, you know,
PEAP?
yeah, PEA.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Well, if you want to know the actual designation, it's Index Catalog IC 4593.
Well, that's
Magnitude
fine.
10.7, so it's tiny. But there it is, right there. That's sort of what it looks like.
Hmm.
And if we're not careful, I think that's it right there. But
Yeah.
I'm way out. Let me zoom in here and see if that's it. Well, that's got to be it because that's the only thing that's oblong here. We can try this. Let's try with our stack. Let's take our mid-level and drag it down to see if that's actually an object we're looking for.
Green object to the upper right.
I see that. And if that's that, then this is a double star. Then it's actually quite close. Dropping it down made this color come out. Let's see. Okay, yeah, maybe, yeah. Let's move in on this.
Tiny, whatever it is.
Well, planetaries typically are, right? They're not that large. Let's go way out here.
Oh,
Oh yeah,
far
that's
away.
it. That's definitely it. The nice thing about this particular camera is it provides us with what's called a high dynamic range. We can see things that are very, very small, and we can then see things that have a lot of detail in them, and they might be bright, okay, but we can actually cut through that in the processing, which is really kind of cool. So here is the what is it, the green-eyed black-eyed peas? No, this is the white-eyed Pea Nebula. Wow. And it probably is green because it has the doubly ionized oxygen here. That's cute. That's really cute. What do you think there, Izabela? It is a very nice color, but it's small. And it's probably, the distance is given as 10,000 light years. So that may or may not be accurate, because these are hard to get accurately, that's for sure. Planetary nebulae are very difficult to get the distances too accurately. All right, we did. We can only do like a 12-second shot because any longer would really overexpose what's in this middle here. So we're gonna pause right there. All right. All right. This is a planetary nebula.
Peas are supposed to be green.
Well, this is green, so I guess it's true, huh? Yeah. So, we see it as green. Hubble doesn't see it as green. Well, we'll save it because we don't know what's going to happen here. There might be more going on in the background that we don't see. So I got it there. We're going to save it now. There's our fits image, and then save exactly as seen. And we'll see how that works. Cool. Well, that's a new one we haven't seen before.
Yeah.
So we back up.
Got a great look at the Dumbbell Nebula the other night. I think he
You
said
did?
it's probably as good as we ever seen it.
Yeah, it was. It's actually not that far from us. What's this planetary here? Oh, the Turtle Nebula. What's that? I've never heard of that. This one's a little brighter than the last one. This is an NGC, so it's actually, oh, we should try that too. Alright, we will. Alright, we're going to go back here to our 1 second shot. Alright, maximize that right there. Go back down to auto. Actually, I'll go to, yeah, I'll do auto, okay. It's still a little bright, but I think we're good now. It's getting closer. And now let's do the Turtle Nebula. Cool, another little planetary. I may or may not save this. It depends what it looks like. It might be just a little tiny round thing, which many of them are. But then it's kind of good to go to this and then go to something like the Dumbbell, because the Dumbbell has really got some interesting, some interesting stuff,
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay, we're centering up a waypoint star apparently. Alrighty, and then moving over to Lost Turtle.
I bet it has legs. And a shell.
Well, I'm sure it has a shell. Again, it must be. I didn't even check the size. We should be able to check the size. Let's go see what the size is of this. Oh, wow. It says... it's like 25 minutes of arc. Does that make sense? No.
25 seconds?
Yeah. Yeah, 25 seconds. So it's tiny.
It's going to be tiny.
But let's see if we can actually look at it and see it. Let's go to 100% on our sensor. Oh, there it is. I think it does have legs. Look at that. That's pretty cool, huh? Can you see that? It has like some weird appendages sticking off. But I don't want to get hung up here. I'd like to go check out the object that's more note here, and that would be our other main planetary that we love so much. And then we can probably look at the ring tonight, because I think other people asked for the ring too as well.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, let's see now. Okay. I just hope it's high enough. There's Vega down here. I mean, the ring is high enough. I'm going to see about the Dumbbell now. We might actually... 50? Yeah, we're actually pretty close. We might be able to see a bunch of things. So, let's first of all go to the Dumbbell Nebula. And then we'll play in Cygnus for a while. What do you say?
Sure.
If we can. Okay, off we go. Alrighty. We're going to Albireo, which is right here. Albireo is an orange K star, and the streaks show it better, and a blue B type star, and they're a true binary system. They're about 5,000 astronomical units apart from each other, but they're orbiting each other. So this is really cool. All right, and then from there we're going to go to the dumbbell, which is pretty obvious when you see it. There we go. And we're going to... What was our exposure the other night? Did we do... Was it 45 seconds, or did we do... I think we did lower than that. But with the dynamic range, I think we're able to drop down. So let's go...
I don't remember.
To the east. Okay.
When you save an image, does it, like on the fifth file or anything, does it save exposure time?
Oh yeah, that's all saved.
Okay.
And all that information is saved. So I can. It's actually on the database. When you go up there and drop it down and start reading, there's a file that gives all the parameters of the camera at the time of the exposure.
Okay. I mean, I go to your server, but I always just look at the processed image.
Yeah. Okay. That's fair. All right, let's do
I know when you first shot this the other night, it was really lurid, red and green.
Yeah.
I don't know if that means you exposed it for longer or what, but go for it.
Well, if you look where we are now, if you look at where it is, okay, in the building, it looks like the roof of the building may interfere. So we're going to give it a shot. I'm doing a 45-second exposure on purpose just to see if it's going to interfere. That's close. That's close. It may be, if anything, it's going to get better and better. But I just, it may be that the dumbbell's just out of reach for us. But we're going to try it. For now, anyway. It'll change. Let's clear this.
I want to say we caught it about this time the other night.
Maybe.
I have a mechanical question for you.
Yeah.
I'm looking at your scope in the edge of the roof of the observatory. Is there any adjustment left in that roof? Could you make that move back a little farther?
I actually had them do that. Yeah, we got a little red, so we got a little bit of the, we have a little problem here, but it's all right. I had to move it back about 6 inches. It used to be right to the roof motor unit, and it's now behind the roof motor unit by 6 inches. Because that's when the technician came out to work on that roof. That's what we did. I asked him to move it back more. Okay, a little bit about this purpley glow you're seeing. This is really a red glow. And believe it or not, there's a little LED on the end of the camera that's lit. And that is just enough subtle red light to play off this edge of the roof. And that's why this has this kind of purple glow to it. Which is kind of weird. We can do some processing. We can kind of work on getting rid of that, as you can see. And I think, we did that last time as well. Alright, now we have two stacked, and as you can see when we zoom in, this Dumbbell Nebula is really pretty. This is a white dwarf right here in the center. And hi Jessica S. This white dwarf actually is powering the glowing of this nebula. So this is doubly ionized oxygen, the greenish blue. The red here could be, most likely it's going to be hydrogen that's caused to glow. That we call it hydrogen alpha. It glows red characteristically. It could be neon.
Might be neon.
There's a lot of other elements that are being in this outer atmosphere of the star. These were elements not made in the star. These were elements that the star was made with, and they stay in the outer atmosphere. One of the misconceptions is that the star, that you see the whole star, is doing this fusion thing, right? That's not true. The fusion occurs only at a very small, tiny central core. And all the rest of that stuff on the outside is fluff, never to be used. It just adds mass to the star, and it carries energy because it's affected by the massive amount of outflow of energy from the core of the star. So the stuff in that outer envelope of the star is plasma. It's plasma is a fancy word for atoms that have been basically broken apart into protons and electrons. All right, and that's what's in the outer envelope of a star, and that doesn't fuse. That's just hot gas. Now, I when I talked about one of the things we had to do in astronomy is we actually had to build a star using the computer, and we had to see how fusion operated. And as you left the core, you started getting to a convection zone where stuff would actually convect like a hot pot. But the center core was here, and then the outer area of the star had these convection zones. In my star, anyway, that's the way I set it up. And it was a stable star, you know. So stars have this ability to do both of that. They can do that convection like that, and that's what this one appears to have possibly done prior to its. Oh, that's beautiful. Prior to its ending. So it's neat that we see this resulting nebula. This looks pretty good, even though we got the edge of the building in there, Darrell.
Yeah. Well, talking of plasma, now that I look at it, I probably can't unsee it. It looks a lot like one of those plasma spear toys, you know?
Oh yeah.
Thing you set up on the shelf and let the little lightning bolts go to work.
Yeah. I have one. Actually, I've got several of them here. And let's try to back this out a bit, get a little more detail. So as I back this out, notice that this shell has now increased in size. See how there's more out here? And there's more actually out here even. There's a lot going on in this nebula. It's really interesting to see it. So this is the Dumbbell Nebula. This is a beautiful, stunning nebula. In a telescope, when I saw this in a telescope as a kid for the first time, I didn't want to take the telescope off it. Now we couldn't see the color. We only saw it as a whitish hourglass shape. We never saw these outside things. At least not in our small telescopes that we used. I saw this outside shape in the 8-inch telescope I had at one point. But not beyond that. Not smaller than that.
May I answer, Grape?
Yeah.
Grape, like Marc just explained, the fusion is in the core, and it's not just one shell; it's probably several shells. The energy down in the center, in the core, takes like 100,000 years as it moves up to reach the surface of the star. And once it's at the surface, then it only takes 8 minutes to reach us. Where at the core, where the fusion's going on, you're talking temperatures of millions of degrees, and by the time it gets to the surface of the sun, you're talking thousands of degrees is all. It has cooled off so much.
Yeah, that's true.
So I guess the answer is yes.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to do something crazy here. I'm going to clear this. And the reason is because our stack wasn't perfectly guiding. So I zoomed in and I saw that. But it's coming back, don't worry. In fact, the first shot is coming back right now. Okay, that looks a little better. The only problem is I may have to run through a focus routine again. So let's do that. Focus sometimes. Huh?
Oh, well, go ahead.
What are you going to say?
Well, I just, like the other night, I think we're seeing detail inside the nebula now that we never saw before.
I totally agree with you.
There's some real fine stuff there going on at about 10 o'clock.
Yeah, well, we'll get that back. We'll get that back in a minute, and we'll see it even better. Because
right.
I'm going to come in here now and set our 1 second time and give us our hybrid view here. And do the focus tool again. Full width, half maximum. So that's all the stars we're going to use. And what I have to do now is I have to zoom back in just for a minute, because I have to take us out of focus. I have to like take us for sure out of focus. All right, it looks like we got some wind too. Look at, see our star images? Yeah, we got some wind going on, guys.
Well, the forecast talked like you'd have less wind tonight.
Much less, yeah. This is actually...
Weather Underground said 5 to 10 miles an hour.
Yeah, this is just a momentary thing. So we're going to have to wait a bit. Okay, that explains why the guiding was off. The focus wasn't so bad after all. It was actually the wind.
But now that you've defocused, you're going to have to refocus.
Yeah. I got to wait for the wind to calm down.
Yeah.
Yep. It just doesn't want to. Alright, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take us back to our auto mode here. And I'm going to set us up to move faster. And I'm going to send us westward a little bit. Okay, let's see. Let's see if the wind gets any better out here. Typically,
clouds in Arizona are moving northeast at a pretty good clip right now. They're not that close to you, but
no, I know. Yeah. Okay, so did we go out? I think I did. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So let's do the focus now and scan inward. Alright, it looks like we're back to having our regular shot here. We're going to scan in and we're going to get our focusing done again. Alright. We're using 13 stars in our field of view. There'll be more as the focus gets better and then less as it goes back out. And as you can see, now we got more. The curve is building. You can see the curve coming down. And then it's going to end up having a central dip, which will be the point of best focus. And then it'll go up, back out of focus. Now we have over 100 stars that are being sampled for the focus. The more stars, the better, without a doubt. And if you wonder why I'm looking left, I have two monitors. This is the broadcast monitor, and this is the actual observatory feed. So I'm going back and forth all the time. Wow, that's a nice dip. Look at that.
you had a striped shirt on, you'd look like a referee in football.
That's true. Alright, let's go to best focus position here. And we're going to zip through the entire range and then back to our central point of best focus. There we go. We are centrally focused now. Okay, so now we can actually jump back to the Dumbbell Nebula and give it another go. The dumbbell's down here, and as you can see, we're not. We have to go a little more east now. Alright, we're going to go back down here. Did we look at the Poodle cluster the other night? I think we did. Which I'm not going to do it again tonight, but I'm just asking. So let's see if it's in here. Yep. Okay, so let's go a little to the west. That's a lot to the west. Gotta get us back to our slower speed. I hit the east now. Oh, that's better. Alright. Actually, by waiting a longer amount of time, what happens is it's raising up higher in the sky for us. We'll actually see it better. Let's go north now. Pull it down. Alright. Alright, now we should be able to see some of this amazing detail, and not bad. I don't think it should be pretty good, actually. Okay. We're going to wait for us to get our guide, and then we're actually going to do a 25-second shot of the dumbbell. Okay, we're guiding now. And let's go. Here we go. And when you look over here, you can actually see our progress bar right there. That progress bar tells us where we're going and how much is left. All right? Let me just park myself back over here. Alright, so now we're going to do our live stack. Alright, there we go. We'll clear this one. And now we're ready for the next one. There we go. And we're going to process that a little bit. Here we are. And we're going to color correct it. There we go. Alright, and now let's zoom in. I'm always zooming in prematurely on this because it's like it just is beautiful. Look at this. Look at this. Holy cow. That's beautiful. I'm hoping the wind doesn't affect us again because it looks like it's already done so. Wow. Yeah. You can see the stars are kind of on a bit of an angle there. That's due to the wind. No. Let's try and clear it again. We're gonna get a good one. Don't worry. We'll get a good one. I will run with this one for a while. No, maybe we shouldn't, because it looks like the white dwarf in the center is elongated on us now too.
Kind of dropped out there for a second.
Sorry. Grape Soda says, Mark, that is amazing. Thank you, sir. No problem. This is just a beautiful, well, a beautiful sight of the death of a star. If there was a civilization in this system, they'd be long gone because of this. Long gone. Let's color correct. Get rid of some of that color. There we go. Alright, and now let's see if we can move some of the noise away. There we go. Look at that. But you see this outer area here is very, very obvious now. It looks beautiful, and you can see filamentary structure in there. That's what you were talking about before, Darrell, I think.
Yes.
It's really nice. And we're actually at 143%. You know, if we are by rights, we should actually be down to, like, I'll show you. This is Just about this is just over 100% on our sensor. So the sensor is great. It allows it supports us being able to check things out at that level, because this is actually how big it is on the frame. All right. So we went to 100%, and that's the native size of the frame. But it supports a lot more. We can just go right into that nebula, which is just too much. Holy cow! Look out! There you go. There's the white dwarf in the middle. Can you imagine seeing it that large in your sky? Okay.
If you don't see a dumbbell, do you see an apple core?
Yeah.
That's what some people call it, is the apple core nebula.
Mm-hmm. And this is the hourglass shape that people usually see.
Yeah.
Actually, we can recreate that just by moving our processing lines a little bit, so you can see how it might look in a smaller telescope. Okay, some people might see that. Some people might see this. And this is sort of how it looked in my telescope when I would look at it with my eye, but it wasn't as bright. You know?
The Vera, it wasn't really an explosion. It just sort of sloughed off its outer layers in stages.
Yeah.
It wasn't as violent as an explosion.
No, it wasn't. The star was a red giant, and what happens when these red giants get large like this, they might start pulsating, and the pulsation would push the outer layers off, and because the star is a red giant, it means that the outer layers of the star are extremely far away from the center, and thus the gravitational force is falling off too, as the square of the distance away from the center of the star. So you get to a point where it doesn't take a lot of effort to push the outer layers of the star off, and they're no longer gravitationally bound to the star because they have this momentum created by the energy of the star pushing out. And so that's what we see here. You know, we can actually pull this out and go big for a while. Well, that's pretty cool. Look at that. That's a beautiful nebula. This is really pretty tonight.
It is.
Wow. Yeah. You can see more detail here in this, what we call the O3, O-I-I-I, Roman numeral 3, doubly ionized oxygen. And you might say, well, wait, if it's doubly ionized oxygen, should it be O2, the O with two I's? No, because the ground state of an atom has the Roman numeral 1 always associated with it. We just don't use it. We just don't talk about it all the time because, hydrogen 1, helium 1, oxygen 1. Hydrogen, helium, and oxygen. We'll talk about it like that. But when it's ionized, it's a 2, okay? Always single ionized. So so an H2 region is an HII, H Roman numeral 2, or hydrogen alpha region, right? So that's how that works. So when we talk about O3, we really mean doubly ionized oxygen, because O1 is a given. It's already there. So ionize once, ionize twice, you get 2 more I's. So in that particular case, so that's O3. Look at his detail. This is beautiful. Wow. Look at you. You're something. Wow. I'm really impressed with this. Wow. It's beautiful. I really love this white dwarf right here. This white dwarf is just beautiful. It's hot and it's blue, which is why it looks the way it does. And that blue color is ionizing all of this material that you can see around the star. All of this former envelope of the star is being ionized. Suffice it to say that nothing that's carbon based could live in this environment. And the reason is because, of course, it's too hot there. The radiation is too intense. You still with us, Darrell? I think you're muted.
Oh, sorry, yes, I was muted.
Okay, no worries. Native resolution of the imager cosmic ray. This is I can show you actually. Let me do that. Let me show you the capture format right there. Can you read that? It says 4144 by 2822 pixels. So it's 4144 by 2822. So that's better than 4K basically. Because 4K is 3840 by 1920, is it? So that's, this is better than that. Look at this, Darrell. This is new. We've never seen this kind of detail before. Look at these. These kind of look like just red areas in the previous views, and now they're modeled patterns.
Oh, yeah. I think it looked as good as this, or a little better, the last stream we did.
Yeah, but there's something else to notice, too. Let me zoom in on this a little bit. Okay. Check out these beautiful structures that go all the way to the white dwarf.
Uh-huh.
This is so incredible. This is really quite stunning. I'm just seeing so much to this that wasn't there.
I'm still taken by I don't know what you would call it. The two
This?
there's the beam at 10 going through the center to 4, especially the one on the 4 o'clock side. How it connects with the the bright red there on the outer shell.
Yeah. Well, as we talked about, this is the equatorial region of the star.
Yes.
And so this nebula has a particular there's a particular nomenclature that applies to this. The characteristic is that it looks like it's bigger at one end than the other end, kind of like a lobed thing. Clearly, it's more extensive here, more extensive there, more wispy at this side, more wispy at this side. So this leads to this being classified as what's called a bipolar nebula. And the bipolarity is just in exactly the way this material is distributed here. You actually see it's going out. Okay, so that's the equator of the star, and the star, as it spins, it could be a rapid rotator too. That material will go out, and it's kind of interesting because it looks to me, it's really interesting how this material here comes out to this end of this curve, and this material comes out to this end of the curve. It tells me, I wonder if there's some kind of precessing going on in here, and it started here and dragged out to here.
I see what you mean.
And it looks like that if that's happening, then there's some other mechanics at work that I don't think have been talked about in the discussions of planetary nebula formation and bipolar nebulae in particular. What model would support potentially a precessing core? Now, that's kind of hard to do here. Could it be the way the physics of how the material was thrown off, more dense in some places than the other? Maybe the star could have been tilted and forced to rotate slightly differently. So basically what I'm getting at, maybe it's doing this. All right? It's possible it's doing this as it goes. So that could have dragged out this area and this area here. It looks as if that's what we're looking at. Or again, we're not looking at it. We're seeing it in 3D, remember? So it could be doing this.
I can't see what you're doing.
Oh, well, that's correct. Yeah.
Give me just a second.
All right.
Okay, whatever you're doing, yes. Okay, do it again.
Okay. Yeah, I'll show you.
I'm looking at you on the YouTube now.
Okay, but if you look at your regular screen now, you'll see it live. It could be doing something like this.
Yes, absolutely.
And that's the kind of thing that I'm thinking about possibly. I actually just noticed that, and because I see it so much better now, it looks like we're watching this, and this could be cones of material, and there are undoubtedly, potentially, these cones of material above and below that white dwarf that are like solid cones, like lobes, like this, that are caused to look like that. And because of this exact line of material, that's offset from the equatorial region as it appears. So something else is going on.
Yeah, and if that from 10 o'clock to 4 o'clock is the equator,
Yeah.
I would say the poles are at about 1 o'clock and 7 o'clock.
Yeah, like about here and here.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it could be doing precessing. It could actually be precessing. And if it's precessing, that could explain what we're seeing. Because we don't see it in 3 dimensions. It looks like it's in 2 dimensions. And that fools you into thinking it's going a certain amount of distance when it may not have. It could actually literally just be going like this.
Yeah. Well, if you look at the outer part of the shell at 10 and 4, where the most intense red is,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, is that like what's the significance of the most intense red?
Well, that would be the highest level of ionization.
Okay.
And so that means that that's the most, at this moment in time, the most intense bombardment by these equatorial jets coming out from that star.
But in a lot of other places in astronomy, the jets come from the poles, not from the equator.
Yeah, but this is again, we don't see this in 3 dimensions. We're only seeing it in 2. So I'm not sure what that morphology is. Is it actually a disk of material that's come out? Is it jets, true jets that are coming out? I'm not sure. I don't know. I've got to look up a study on this because this is a fascinating nebula.
Yeah.
Well, we stacked 38, so I think we did okay so far. Looks good.
Let's do the ring now.
Yeah, why not? It should be high enough. Okay, so here's our live stack. I'm going to wait for the 39th to come in right here. There we go. We stacked 39. All right, and now let me come over here and say M27 Dumbbell Nebula. And it's a PN, it's a planetary nebula.
I wonder at the, as you look at the body of it, I've mentioned this before,
Yeah.
around the edges of it, both where the red is, but
Yeah.
especially where it's a little fainter, where the green is, you see that line. It's almost like you've drawn an eye, you know, it's like a double teardrop shape.
Yeah.
That what made those form.
I know.
It comes to a peak there at about 8:30 or 9 o'clock, and then up at about 2 or 2:30.
Yeah. There's a lot of detail here that's really astonishing tonight.
Yeah.
I'm going to pull this back a little, see if we can grab some of the outer layers. Oh, yeah. Look at that. That's amazing. And I'm going to push this really hard because I'm going to see what's on the outside. And as you can see, there's more out here. There's more out here. Look at this, like this part right here.
Oh, yeah. I've seen deep exposures of the dumbbell, and there is like a whole other shell out there.
Yeah, there is.
Very faint.
We can see it. Very impressive. Most impressive. But you are not a Jedi yet. I really like this. That's cool. Alright, well, we're going to save it. There we go. And then we'll save it exactly as seen. This is our Dumbbell Nebula. And now, if we can get to the ring, well, we can. We'll check that out too. So thanks, guys, for checking that out with us. That was wonderful. Let's see here. All right, let's go to our 1 second time. Hyper that so we can see what's going on. And you can see the color even in this 1 second shot. Of course, we are using pretty darn good equipment. Okay, so you come out of there now. All right. And now back to here. And up here we'll have Ring Nebula. Right here. And it's about 70 degrees up, so this should be pretty good. And the ring is very bright, so it's easy to overexpose it, which is really kind of unfortunate. Alright, well, here we go. Let's go to the ring. First, let's bring back so I can see the telescope. Now you can see the telescope.
A little bit.
Huh?
A little bit about the structure of the dumbbell. The knots vary in appearance from symmetric objects with tails to rather irregular tailless objects, similarly to the Helix Nebula and the Eskimo Nebula. The heads of the knots have bright cusps, which are local photoionization fronts, which is what I guess you said a few minutes ago.
Yep.
Anyway, moving on.
It's very cool. All right, and there it is, right there in the middle. See it?
Yep.
Wow. Okay. Now there's an. Okay, there's a satellite. Now, if a satellite went right through the hole in the ring, then we'd have to record that. Okay, so the ring is small, yes, but you know what is interesting about the ring is that when we look at it, it's a very bright small object, and I know they talk about it being like a barrel shape, and I'm not convinced it's a barrel shape. I'm just not. I think it goes back to what I talked about many times, and that is that it's a sphere of a shell expanding outside that star, around that star, and the stuff on this side that's facing you you can see through my fingers here, okay, and at the backside, but as I turn it this way, you can't see through my fingers, so it looks thicker. So from any particular direction you look at this from, I feel like we're going to see it as a perfect sphere with a that's got a bullseye in the center that is its white dwarf.
Yeah.
What are the
And
chances?
This is just a 1 second exposure too.
Yeah, we're not even doing any exposures yet. All right, first exposure I'm going to do will be an attempt to capture the very bright, or the less bright outside reddish nebula that surrounds this main ring. So we'll do that first, and it's gonna take us to probably a 40-second exposure, so at least. And believe it or not, if you look at our gain, it's only at 100, which is why the dumbbell looks so good, because it's so bright and we didn't have a whole lot of noise. But for this, we need to up our gain a little bit. We're going to go to 200. Okay, so this will capture fainter stuff. Alright, so let's do that. 40 seconds, exposure underway. Come in here, and we are all set. So now we'll see our first one. This is cool. Stars are so similar, but the planetary nebulae are so different from each other. Yeah. In some ways they are. Oh god. Yeah, that's pretty bright. That's how bright it is, right? Yeah, we actually caught a Starlink satellite. At least I think it's Starlink. Okay. Let's now push this a little differently and see if we can look and see. Oh look, there's some red. Look at that. We caught it, Darrell. Look at that outer red area. See it?
Not really, no.
Okay.
Maybe with a few more exposures.
Yeah. Let me see if I can drop that back. Pretty sure we caught that. Hold on.
The ring, to me, see, I got my first telescope in the summertime,
Yeah.
and the ring is one of the first things I looked at,
Yeah.
and I have never forgotten it.
No, it's beautiful.
It looked just like a smoke ring out in space.
Yep.
Where you don't often see color through the eyepiece. It was gray, but it looked like a smoke ring.
Yeah.
Like the big guy above was blowing a smoke ring from his cigar.
Yeah. There's a small galaxy next to the ring too, I believe. I think
Yes.
that's what that is right there.
Yes, it is.
All right, let's see.
So, are you gonna turn down your exposure time, or
Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna get
do
it
some
down.
processing, or?
No, I mean, I have to drop the exposure time because it's gonna have to go too low. It has great dynamic range, but not that great. I mean, not the best. Okay, and we got some artifacts here up there as well. The wind is at us again. Look at that. It's streaking all of our stars.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. So we're going to cut this down to like a... wow, look at that. Talk about streaky. Okay, let's cut this down to a 12-second shot. Alright, and get rid of this. We're at 200. And we're going to clear this. Actually, you know what? This is also bright. I'm going to go down to 100. I'm going to clear this to make sure we just take a straightforward shot only at 100. Okay. Alright, so now there's our ring nebula. Now we'll check it out. Let's zoom in. Yeah, got a little movement there.
Don't see the central star yet.
Mm-hmm. We saw it in the other exposure we did earlier.
What, 40-second shot?
No, it was. I think it was in the 1 second. Just we actually saw that.
Oh.
But I mean, it's here, right there. So it's there.
Yeah, I can just barely see it, maybe.
Yep. I think that star is magnitude 14, isn't it?
I don't remember.
What? You don't remember that? No, I don't.
Give me just a second, I'll look it up.
Okay. The wind is killing us right now.
Yeah.
Making it a little tough. Yeah, we'll have to do this at a point where we can actually capture it in a good light, because right now the wind has blown the telescope a little bit, and that's not good. Alright, so let's see. Alright, so while it's doing this, we'll just let it go for a few more seconds, but I'm going to try this. Let's get the AllSky camera out. Let's bring this out and bring it to bear on our night sky tonight and see what's going on up there. So we're going to go to our preview. It's a 15-second shot, I believe. Yeah, there we go. And we'll see it here. Right there. Banana! I can't wait for the Minions movie. I like Minions. Oh, look at the Milky Way coming up. Look at that. That's beautiful. There's the Sagittarius Milky Way down there. You're seeing the lights of Phoenix 70 miles away. You don't see them with your eye, but they're visible to a camera.
Apparent magnitude of the central star is 15.75.
Okay.
And the central star is not a white dwarf. It's on its way to becoming one, but the central star of the ring has left the asymptotic giant branch after exhausting its supply of hydrogen. Thus, it no longer produces energy through nuclear fusion. In evolutionary terms, is now becoming a compact white dwarf star.
Yeah. Okay.
surface temp of about 125,000 K.
It's pretty warm.
200 times more luminous than the sun, but its mass is only about 0.6 solar mass. 6.1, 6.2.
Is that what Wikipedia's telling you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah. Look at our stars are streaked because of the wind.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you know what? It's there. We got all summer to get it. So we're going to dump this and not follow through on doing any more with it because that's not going to be helpful to us.
Yeah.
The central stars there, though.
Well, thanks for trying.
Yeah.
Mark, I think I'm going to call it a night at this point.
All right.
I tried to hit the hay a little earlier than I did last time.
I know you kind of went like for a long time with us.
Oh yeah.
All right.
So,
great to have you. As
yeah,
always.
as ever, thanks for having me on, and
Sure.
thank you for coming, everybody. And I'll wish you all a good night and a good morning to Izabela. You all take care and have fun.
All right. We're probably not going to go much longer here. I'm trying to see how viable it might be to check out some of the Cygnus nebulas. I'm really pushing summer, aren't I?
It's summer.
I'm pushing summer. Well, let's see if we can look at the Pelican. Not sure we can. It's way down in the northeast. Look at that. Telescope is really going. If it finds our waypoint star, though, let's find out where it's going. It might be going to Deneb.
Okay, I'm out of here. Take care, everybody.
Okay,
Good
Darrell.
night.
Thank you. We'll see you later.
See ya.
Bye. Okay. We're at Deneb right there. Actually, we're going to be in okay position if the wind doesn't kill us. Renee Cruz is going to pig out on some munchies. That's hilarious. Very cool. Alright, let's see here. I'm just going to do a test shot here to see. Let me see where it thinks we are. Okay. Alright, let's take a photo. Do a special preview for what's to come, right? Let's do a 28-second photo and stack it and see what it looks like. How exciting! How exciting. Oh my. Nebulae. Without a doubt, we got nebulae. That's pretty impressive. Holy cow. Okay. That's the Pelican Nebula right there. And let's show you what's really there, because it's really quite phenomenal. There it is. And that's just beautiful. Give me an idea what's really there. We can push this a little bit. So you see all that detail in that nebula. That's what's really going on there. Okay. Work on this now. Just give a little bit. Reduce some of our blue. There we go. Let's zoom in. I think we're getting wind damage to our exposures here. Yeah, we are. See how they're dragged? But interesting notice that we're getting such incredible detail in the nebula, even though our stars are not holding their own because of the wind. Oh, that's just something. I know you don't want to hear, but I'm not going to save this one because it's imperfect. You can see how the trend is going this way. The stars are moving that way, and the wind is actually causing us to have an issue out there. Try it out a little longer. Wow, this is something else. So I hope you guys are having a good time tonight, because this is really an interesting night. And it's probably one of the clear nights. It's going to be the clearest for another week, actually. We have 300 clear nights a year, but the bulk of the non-clear nights are at this time of the year. This is called the monsoon season. So there's rain around, and not much, but you know, monsoon to one is a small drizzly rain shower to another. Mark, how about putting the scope in a big bubble? Donald Kunzer says. A big bubble. Actually, you know what? That concept was actually tried. The trouble is that the bubble itself, if you make it out of this optically clear material, well, I mean, you saw what I did. I had the AllSky camera has this optically clear bubble over the top, but every now and then you'll see a spider sitting on there or a bird turret on the thing, and we'd have the same problem with a bubble. But I always thought that was the coolest thing, you know. Cosmic says, what software uses waypoint stars? It's actually a process within this telescope system called high precision pointing. And that's what's happening now, is we're getting high precision pointing in play. Let's see if I can salvage this image. Look at that. I mean, can't believe we're seeing this again. This is beautiful. Yeah. You can see this. This is actually a diffuse hydrogen gas nebula. And there's dark nebula in here as well. This region, as we'll see as summer rolls around, it's mixed, highly mixed with this material. It's just beautiful. Outstanding. Look at that, huh? And we have some more. Stars are just a little, elongated too, unfortunately. Let's see if I can. Okay. Very majestic. Now let's try bring out some more detail on you. It's called the Pelican because this looks like a pelican. Wow. Okay, Izabela. She says she has a big thunderstorm coming. She's in Sofia, Bulgaria, Cosmic. We are impacting a little bit of the building, which is why we're getting these weird halos here. So unfortunately, there's very little we can do to combat that. Well, once it's higher in the sky, you'll see this is going to be much better. But we're pushing it, aren't we? I hate to see it go, but so long, Pelican. We'll see you another night. I won't save it because it's not something worth saving, unfortunately. But it will be there for us the next time, won't it? Wow. That's what it looks like through a regular telescope. Not a hint of nebula. Let me see if we can look at one thing more. Just one more. And it's going to be Albireo. I want you to see this. Albireo is a beautiful double star. It was the very first double star I looked at as a kid, and I was hooked ever since seeing it. Okay, the orange star is a K3, Roman numeral 2. So kind of a star that's a giant star. And the other star is a B9, which is a hot blue star as well. Now there it is. Now it's going to center it. Here we are. And that's going to work. Let's actually bring the telescope north a little bit. We'll center this up. Okay. Yes, Izabela, as she says, hey, a secret to tell you, Albireo is Marc's favorite star. It is. And I'm going to show you why it's going to become your favorite star, too. Okay, this will be 100% view at 1 second right here. And we're elongated because of wind, unfortunately. But you know what? Let's do a 5-second exposure on this. and live stack it. Okay. This is one of the most beautiful doubles in the sky. And look at this. Satellites. Never ending. Let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of this, actually. There we go. Look at that. So many stars in the constellation of Cygnus, the Swan, which is where we are. And sitting there is this beautiful double star, Albireo. You can see the color, the orange color of that K3 star. Remember, it's OBAFGKM, and they go from bluish, very, very hot and blue, all right, to less blue, to sort of a white color, and then the F color is starting to head toward the yellows. G is yellowish white, and then K's are orange, and then the M's are red. There's an M star. There's an M star. There's an M star. M stars are the most plentiful stars in the entire universe. There's more of them than any other kind, and there's more planets around those than any other kind. So here we have this star here now. This star here is a blue one, and this blue star is actually a B8 or a B9 star, so AFGKM, so OB, and it goes from 0 to 9. So this is a B9, so it's almost an A star in a sense. But this beautiful, beautiful star is just stunning. Let's see if we can play with some colors and get the colors to come out a little more. Yeah, look at that. Now you can see very clearly what a beautiful star this is. I'll save this one. You know why? Because I absolutely love this star. It's the most beautiful star in the sky for me. And it is my favorite. And it's a double star. And as I mentioned before, these stars are separated by 5,000 astronomical units. Now, just to give you an idea of perspective, Neptune's orbit is 30 astronomical units. Okay? And if you go out 5,000 astronomical units, that's not an insignificant distance relative to the size of, say, a light year. And so, but these stars are actually alone in space, and they're orbiting each other. So I think that's really cool how that works. There could be no life around these stars. The K3 has already evolved off that main sequence where it was doing hydrogen fusion. The B9 star here, too hot, significant amount of ultraviolet light that it gives off. But they are beautiful, and it does have this beautiful look to it. So we're going to go to 40, which is actually going to be done now. That's it. And we're going to pause it. And we're going to save Albireo right now. So we did our 5th save, and now we're going to save it exactly as seen. Wow. Well, we did good tonight, guys. We did good. Oh, Izabela says she's got a... It's getting too stormy. I have to turn off PC, but I'm on the tablet. Okay. Very good. Well, we're going to clear this now. It'll be up there on the server in seconds, and you'll be able to view it. Now, one thing that I did want to show you, actually, which I think is kind of important. Probably not here. Just a sec. I'll show you. Alright. You can sit there and watch Albireo for a couple seconds while I do this. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay, this is the last thing we're gonna do tonight. I'm gonna show you now. This is our website. Okay, this is SkyTour Livestream Observatory's website. Now, if you scroll down in this, okay, and we'll talk about this in a minute, but if you scroll down in this, here you see the instructions and how to get to the online database, right? So this is where we're going to get to the online database, and these are all the pictures. And what you'll do is, say you go to 6/22/2022, okay, we go in there and we'll see, for instance, the Dumbbell Nebula, and you'll see the number 3. You go, what is that? Well, there's the time, and we click it, and now we're in the meat of it. This is the processed image that we did, the save exactly as seen, and this is the raw frames that you can process if you wish. But let's go in here. So we can go in here, and now we come in, and don't worry, it's going to get better. You'll see. There you go. And now you see the image just like we saw it. Isn't that beautiful? That is just gorgeous. So that is something that I think is where we want to go, where you want to see. So that's how that works. That's the database. A little farther down is our photo gallery, and you can drag or you can just click the button, and there's captions to show you what they are, or you can just click on them. These are some but not all of the images we've captured, and we're going to keep capturing, keep sending. There's the observatory in the desert, all right, and that's the desert sunset, all right, another desert sunset, and here is the instrument in the building. The dew shield is not on it in this image to show you the camera, which is right here, and our special f2 converter lens called the Hyperstar from Starizona in Tucson. So that's really cool. There's the Crab Nebula, and a dumbbell. This was from the other night, actually. So that's what happens. And then, please support us. There's our GoFundMe page if you want to help us. And then here's what we do: look, learn, and love. I mean, this is the beautiful universe that we check out. And we're available on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're on Twitter, and of course YouTube. So this is a really nice, quick site. If you're interested in our radio show, SkyTour Radio, this is SkyTour Radio on KGRA and KGRA-DB, and it's just a real fun time. We have a good time out there, and you can actually listen to the episodes if you want to. All right. Don't ask me why this picture, but I remember that picture being taken. I was talking, and somebody took a picture, and that ended up being this one. So anyway, there you go. That's what we're doing. That's our whole tour de force. All right. So I hope you guys enjoyed that, and you have a good idea of what we do, in terms of the social media and so forth. All right. So that said, with this setup right here, I would say that we're done for the night. I'm going to go back to 1 second here, and thank you for joining us. You can clearly see the colors now, by the way. Let me zoom way in now. The wind is actually, in this case, sort of helps us, but check out those colors. There's that K3 star, K3-2, Roman numeral 2, and this is that blue star. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, Vera, I didn't put it in there. I should. Hey, Drop a Deuce, how you doing? Look how the wind is affecting us right now, which is a good time to quit because the wind is just gonna make things go bad. Luckily, we were able to manage it. So, guys, you have a good time, and I will talk to you the next clear stream. Let me tell you what's going on. It's the 23rd right now for me, and on the 28th, I'm flying out to Phoenix to go to Roswell the next day. I'll be speaking in Roswell about some special physics that you might be able to use to have a extraterrestrial aircraft come here from a long distance away. Then I go back to Phoenix and then go to Denver, where I speak 3 times. I'm speaking at the conference 3 times. I'm doing training. I'm teaching people how to use cameras and do photo and video analysis, because that's the specialty I have in that arena. Then I will be doing a workshop on special tools you can use, like on your phone, to actually do astronomical, wonderful things, which we'll cover here too. And then I'm doing a main speaker presentation that Sunday. And then I go back to Phoenix, and I spend a week out here in the building. And there's a lot of upgrades, a lot of changes, a lot of cleanup stuff I got to do. So it'll be kind of cool. You know. And Gabrielle, I did not miss you. I saw you show up. That's very nice to see you. I realize it's a little bit late right now for you to be here, because unfortunately we're closing up right now. But I want to thank you guys for coming in, and checking us out. I leave you with Albireo tonight. So, you guys have a good night, and I will see you again really soon. Good night, everybody.